1% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get punked, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in they Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the Hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters gon' move. Whatever clique you choose, you better
You, sir, are a liar. Liar, liar, your pants are on fire!
So you had a video come out today that many people were waiting on, man. And during that video, Gunnar talked about the recent hoopla surrounding the so-called exposing of Gunnar's lies, creating fake stories, so on and so forth, right? So to catch you up to speed, if you're not, Gunnar had been doing these stories called Super Northerner, I believe, and Super Pepe. And I guess these characters were supposed to be about his cousin and an individual named Pepe that he knew from Compton, right? And so a lot of individuals assume that Gunnar was lying and making up stories. And so you have a YouTube creator by the name of Slugstown. I guess he did some investigating, some digging around, and he found the real cousin Ricky and the real Pepe, and he interviewed those dudes, and they did not confirm a lot of the stories. They said Gunnar was doing a lot of things that was not true, right? And so people were waiting to hear Gunnar's response. So Gunnar finally dropped that video today, and let me show you a little of what Gunnar said.
So, wow, there was a lot of videos made about me this weekend, right? And you know what? Some of them are deserved, and a lot of them are not. You can't expose someone for lying if you're lying about exposing them for lying, right? It's crazy. I'm saying it is what it is. I lied. Hey, I made up some stories. I fabricated shit. I thought it would be funny. And obviously, man, it wasn't.
So, yeah, you heard Gunnar admitting that, he lied. He definitely did make up some stories right now. Let me start off by saying this, right? I've always told you guys from the gate, right, that I am here to entertain, and I am here for the bread. Were individuals surprised that Gunnar confirmed that some of these stories was lies and stuff like that? It all depends on who you are, right? You had a lot of individuals who did not believe these stories, and you had some who did believe these stories. You had some who say they did not believe the stories, but they still enjoyed the entertainment, right? At the end of the day, man, I've always said that YouTube is here for individuals to be entertained, right? So you can be entertained by the truth. You can be entertained by what you know is not true. It all depends on the individual, right? I've never once told anybody to stop watching Gunnar's page, so on and so forth. People, once again, like what they like. Now, me personally, at some point in time, I did believe Gunnar told a lot of lies. Well, honestly, I knew he told a lot of lies because he has lied on me several times. This dude will just make up a scenario or a conversation and just twist the whole thing or just talk about something that never did actually occur, right? And so still in all, people happen to watch his channel, right? And once again, it doesn't matter what a person is interested in. You can like him or you could not like him, right? At some point in time, me personally, I felt that the dude told a lot of lies. Now, a lot of individuals, myself included at one point in time, was intrigued by Gunnar's personality. Gunnar has a funny personality at times, and he is entertaining, right? So I've always said also, too, in my opinion, everybody should have a YouTube channel, man. If you're able to sit down and you're able to attract an audience and keep people glued in to whatever you're talking about, and then on top of it get paid. And some of these YouTubers get paid, you know, $5, $6, $7, $8,000. So if you're able to do that, man, and stay at home and chill, more power to you, right? But I think where you had a lot of dudes take issue with when it got into the scamming, you know, Gunner's stories went a little beyond just the fake stories about his cousin, so on and so forth, right? Because at some point in time, and I'm just catching up on all of this on the back end, I've never watched any of his stories or whatever, right? But at some point in time, these characters that he created, who he said was actually his cousins, now he's saying that, you know, some of these characters were loosely based on his cousins or people that he may have knew, or he intertwined different characters into one person, so on and so forth, right? He intertwined different characters that he knew in his real life into one person. At some point in time, Gunnar started make it seem like some of these characters was experiencing hardships. I believe he said his cousin Ricky had went to jail, and later on, when Ricky was interviewed by Slugstown, Ricky says he has never been in jail, right? And so you have individuals who liked Gunnar's personality, they liked his stories, and I guess they became somewhat attached to some of these individuals that he was talking about because they reached deep down in their pocket and they sent him money, right? And so that's where you have a lot of people who did take issue with all this. That's where they took issues, you know. Okay, if you want to go on here and hop up on your page and tell lies, and if people are interested in the lies that you're telling and they like it, even though it may seem like it's a lie, hey, more power to you, man. But now when he talks about these individuals and he is presenting these things to be the truth, and he's talking about these individuals are going to jail. Hey guys, could you send me some money to put on this guy's books? This guy doesn't have no money. That's where a lot of people draw the line, when you are intentionally deceiving and flat out lying to your subscribers, right? There was one dude in my comments, he said, hey man, I sent that dude $290, right? And then so as I'm looking through Gunner's comments, I seen somebody else say that they sent the guy some money. They had sent Ricky some money, and that was messed up. So let me show you guys a quick screenshot of that. And so, you know, I didn't watch Gunner's, well, I did watch Gunner's whole entire video, right? But I didn't pay attention to it during the time that the video was playing. I got a very important phone call about something else that I had to do, and so I'm half listening to the video. I'm half listening to, and I'm talking to the person that I'm talking to right now. In the course of that video, though, I do not recall Gunnar saying anything about the people who sent him money. I don't recall him saying, hey man, if you sent me some money, I apologize, get at me, I'll send you the money back, so on and so forth. You know, he admitted that he was lying and he done some things that he shouldn't have done, right? So that's the problem that a lot of individuals have, man, that he intentionally scammed his audience. That would be almost like, okay, me saying, hey man, look, you guys, I got this music that I'm selling, man. Send me some money, and I'm gonna send you the CD or the digital download link or whatever. And then when people send me money, I have nothing for them. Now that is a 100% flat out scam, right? And so for those who did send him money, I think that's what they was upset about the most from what I gathered reading through some of his comments and some of the comments that was also left on a video I done about this a day or two ago, right? Now, was I surprised to beat 100? No, man, I was not surprised, right? And let me just say this before I get into this. You know, people say, well, hey, chill, man, why do you do content on Gunnar and other people, so on and so forth? The same reason that Gunnar makes up these fake lies and does videos on people who don't exist, or he lies about the interactions that he's had with these individuals. Because it's content, you know. Just because I do content that's actual and factual does not mean it cannot be entertaining to individuals who may have a certain disposition against the dude that I'm talking about. Other words, to break it down, just because what I'm saying is truthful does not mean dudes are not entertained by it if they happen to find Gunnar a slime ball, right? And so that's basically what I'm saying. The same reason Gunnar will tell a lie and make up stuff is the same reason I'll do a video on Gunnar, because it's content and some people are entertained by that fact, right? Now, Of course, you have certain individuals, man, who have already picked sides due to whatever reason, right? And they don't like that, an individual may do some content on Gunner, right? But now, back to, was I surprised? No, I wasn't surprised, right? Because in my opinion, that is part of Gunner's makeup. The deceiving, the lying. Like I said, the dude has told some flat out lies on me, right? Just flat out. But I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered by it in the most, man. Best believe, in this life that I've led, it's a lot of things that's happened to me, way more than a person telling a lie, man. I've been lied on. I've been attacked with a weapon in prison, cut all on the back, sliced up on the back. I've been actually shot. I've been shot at many times. I think I told you guys, man, when I got out, I ran across an individual who testified on me. Now, not only did the dude testify, he was an ex-gang member who I had been literally knowing all my life. He got up there and he flat out lied. Now, I was 100% guilty. I was 100% guilty. Don't ever get that misconstrued, or don't get that misconstrued or messed up. But the dude got up there and lied and claimed he was present at the shooting when the shooting happened, and he wasn't, right? I saw that dude and didn't have any, ill will toward the individual or nothing like that, right? Because I know that, I have also done things in my life that are, that people would frown down on, right? So in this content space, this stuff is just all content, right? But now, we've seen Gunnar talk about people's medical issues, disrespect people in health issues about colostomy bags. We've recently seen him, wish death on an individual who has cancer. So for him to come on a video and tell a lie in order to get some money, it definitely was not surprising to me one bit. Gunnar is who Gunnar is, right? He came today, he dropped a video. He apologized to some individuals. He said he was sorry, and in my opinion, he pretty much couldn't have done anything other than that. You always have choices. He could have also continued to lie and say, it's not true. But like I said, the YouTuber Slugstown, he interviewed these dudes, and so pretty much in my opinion, Gunnar was placed between a rock and a hard place. So once again, I've never told anybody to stop watching Gunnar. If you're entertained by that, more power to Gunnar. He has created a place for himself where people like his comedy, the things that he does and stuff like that. Do I agree with lying and misleading people and talking about, hey, this dude is in jail, he needs money for a lawyer, send money for his lawyer? No, you know what I'm saying? Now, to me, that's straight out scandalous. But once again, I've never sent Gunnar any money, so I really don't have a dog in the fight outside of content, right? To keep it 100, man, if people get at me and say, hey, chill, Gunnar scammed me for $400, man, I'm not finna send him nothing back. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate, but I'm not affected by other than content. Now, so what I trip on when you have these individuals, man, like Gunnar, who has been doing content for years and years and years, and sometimes his content involves other individuals, right? For him suddenly to become content because of a legitimate reason, and then want to act like he's a little offended that an individual would do content on him, that's something that I don't understand. Now, I could understand if he was just a regular dude, he looks up on YouTube and everybody's making videos about him. I could understand that. But for an individual who has made videos about other individuals, and if we're going to keep it 100, at times he has rolled around in the YouTube mud, slandering people, trying to expose people, putting out misleading stories or flat out lies about individuals doing things, putting out a charge on an individual stemming behind some fake paperwork, a very slanderous, reputation killing charge on an individual behind what turned out to be fake paperwork, right? And then suddenly now to become upset and offended by individuals doing content on you over what is a legitimate thing. To me, once again, it's baffling, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man, So, I'm just bringing you guys this video right here. I think a lot of people was interested in hearing what Gunnar was going to have to say surrounding these, these videos where these individuals have been interviewed by Slugstown, and they said that, Gunnar has been lying, right? Once again, man, I honestly don't believe it will stop, what Gunnar is doing on YouTube, and I don't want it to stop what he's doing, get the bread. Like I say, once again, man, I believe everybody should have a YouTube channel. If Gunnar gets 10 million videos, that's not gonna hurt in a negative way or help in a positive way what I make on my channel. So I am really not upset about it one way or other, man. Once again, like I told you guys, it's just content. Now, in my opinion, does it point to, a part of Gunnar's character? Oh, most definitely. But like I said, once again, with some of the things that we've seen him do in the past, this is definitely not surprising to me. Anyway, man, look, y'all already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.